So I'll just wait till I hear him about to say on.
How does that second song that we did a long time ago that Kim does? I think I don't remember how it goes.
Place where God shows up.
That one. Just give me a general rhythm.
Good, you?
Good, thanks for learning that.
Yeah. Okay. Oh.
Dan, can I get you to plug this in number 5?
It's got to be the wrong end for a microphone, right?
Cut this song because it's really long, and Tommy had asked me to cut this song before, and I don't know where do we want to cut it.
Um,
Quick download on this one.
The message is the same. It's just
This one? Say this one?
Check, check, 1, 2. Check, 1, 2. Check, Susan's mic. Check,
I thought
1,
we
2,
did
2, 2.
these
Check,
two,
1, 2. Check.
but
I think that's a little loud. Check, 1, 2. Check. Right there, it's good. If you can hear it.
I think so. I think
Can you
that's
hear?
what we've done. And then come back in with peace,
Can you hear?
peace in the light after this.
Susan, this is yours. It'll be right here.
test.
Your mic will be right here. Have Shonda's mic right there.
Yes, yes.
No, I didn't. I I guess I missed that email or text.
Check 1 2. This Tom's mic. Check. Is that good, Orlando? Check.
I'll talk to Paul. It's at 5. Might be able to swing back. Paul has some things he wants to do with the car. We're sharing a car. So I just need to see if he can get the car back in time for me.
Thank you for being here today. Thank you, Kevin. Great.
Susan is in the house.
Yeah, my eyes got all messed up because I was already having allergies and then I slept in my contacts. So I'm like, I'm gonna have to let them recover for a while. New contacts for a while. Yeah, mine did too. Those hairy. Yeah.
Let's see, did I? Oh, I played. I just played for a little private thing, just 3 or 4 songs. That was it. Friday night. Down at the Church of Scientology, down the street from me.
Right?
Yes.
Yes. Thank you. It's like a marker pen. Okay. From here? Yeah. Here? He is doing so good. He's going to be 13 in June. Can you believe it? And he's taking sewing lessons and is really into he really loves it. It's been hours sewing. He wants to be a fashion designer. Yeah, I think that's great. So I'm going to get you a picture of it. I'm going to try to find the Madonna. We went to the Madonna concert. Are you available to do me to mark that out so that we don't play it? Period.
Oh, I'll know when you go into this.
I know he's got some big hair. Thank you so much. I don't know how this song goes. I can't believe how big he's getting. By yourself? Now I can see it more.
That's Kim.
Thank you. I'm really proud of him. He made the National Junior Honor Society. So I'm hoping he'll keep that up so he can get a scholarship. I told him we need a scholarship for it to get with the way college costs. You gotta get a scholarship right now.
LGM downtown. You can play taking it to the streets. Taking it to the streets.
Or
What's that?
downtown.
guys are set at what is your time slot on the material on the 20th? Is it Thursday or Friday? Saturday, next Saturday. Okay, good. I think I have it right.
Good morning. Isn't it just a beautiful day? Just a gorgeous day. I am so delighted you all have joined us this morning here at Unity Spiritual Center, Spiritual Community, Georgetown. We come together on Sunday mornings so that we can just bathe in the energy that is spirit and take all that energy around us that's everywhere present and just focus it into a little laser and it just goes right to our heart and opens up the doors to our soul, and all the sunshine comes in, and it's just a really good feeling to be in that vibration, because everything's a vibration. It's a vibratory universe. Everything is sound. And so we come together on Sunday mornings, and in order to create this magic, we do a lot of things together. It's a participatory service so that we sing together and we affirm together, we pray together, we learn together, we laugh together. And during all that, the energy is just focusing more and more and more, and by the time the morning ends, we are I think we're basically levitating at that point. So that's the aim, is to levitate. That's my goal. I do it all the time in my dreams. I said, why can't I do it? It's not, and then people in my dreams, they see me and they say, how do you do that? And I said, I don't know. I just do. Same way I walk. Take a step forward. So we have a lot of special things today. I'm really excited, and I'll share that with you in the announcements in a minute about something we've got going on. I also want to share with you that I went to a workshop on Thursday, all day, 10 to 4, headed by the CEO of Unity Worldwide Ministries, about refocusing our ministries, and it was just really, really very positive experience. And we'll be sharing more, the board and I will be sharing more with you about that whole thing. So unity is a positive path for spiritual living. We have no dogma, but we do have 5 principles that guide our philosophy. And we also have a lot of spiritual tools to help you with in your spiritual journey. And if you go to our website under the resources, there's a drop down and it says spiritual tools. We have like 14 of them. There's a lot. Now, you might be prone more towards one than another, but take a look at them. One of them is journaling. Of course, there's meditation, affirmations, all sorts of things. There's a music list that we've added. It's actually a spiritual practice. Create a music list. And speaking of music, I do want to point out our music team today, and not just today, but every day, because they're so special, and they add so much to what we do in the mornings, and you're going to find out in a little bit. Anyhow, let's get moving, and welcome to Unity Spiritual Center, Georgetown, for those of you here and those of you online. We are a spiritual breath of fresh air. What does that mean? What does that mean? It means that we have an entirely new way of looking at this universe and this life. And you'll hear the messages from one week to the next about how we see life. And it's very different. It's a very positive way. So I'd like to start this morning. Join me in affirming our mission statement. We are a thriving spiritual community, inspiring and empowering individual and global transformation as exemplified by the life and the teachings of Jesus. Once again, welcome to Unity Spiritual Center, Georgetown. Our announcements.
If you are here for the first time, we would like to extend a special welcome. If you are comfortable, please raise your hand or stand so that we can say hi and give you a welcome packet. Would you like to stand up and tell us your name and where you're from? Destin, Florida. Well, welcome. So, we have somebody else? Kelly Hemingway?
Welcome.
Welcome. Okay, is there anyone else? Okay, let's get Metaphysical Discussion Group with Reverend Tommy. Usually meets on Wednesdays at 10 a.m. at Legacy Hills Park across the street from the Oaks. However, there will be no meeting this week. Plan on attending next week. And great news, LGM is taking the show on the road.
We're going downtown.
Starting Tuesday, June 18th, LGM will be meeting downtown at the Grace Heritage Center on South Main Street here in Georgetown on the first and third Tuesday of the month from 7 to 9 p.m. It will be a great outreach to those looking for the something else to religion and more accessible to our Georgetown community. Please plan to join us.
If I may add to that, it's the subtitle of the evening is called An Evening of Music, Musing, and Meditation. So we'll have a little bit of music, a little bit of watch a video, have a discussion, and then I'll introduce people to a short little 5-minute or something meditation just for the general public, and I hope to have a lot of new people there because I think people really do need this spiritual practices in their lives. Anyway, we're going downtown.
Tuesday, March 28th, is the book club's conclusion of The Disappearance of the Universe by Gary Renard. They are meeting at the home of Judy McClanahan instead of the Lark and Al. In 2 weeks, June 2nd, our Fund and Fellowship Mexican Fiesta will be after service here at the Oaks. We encourage you, if you are planning on attending, that you purchase your tickets soon. Eat in and take away are both options. Tickets are now available to be purchased for $15 each, credit card via Breeze or after service, or see Mary Kresha to pay with cash or check. Final date to order will be next Sunday, May 26. May 26, we will again be at the Cowan Creek Pavilion for service. Plan on staying afterward for fellowship, bring a lunch, let's have a picnic. Everyone had a great time during the service. We will have 10 people who have volunteered to share their stories. How exciting and inspirational. The noon member class, scheduled after service on June 9th, 12 to 1:30, is in the Mesquite Room, which is right over here. A light lunch will be provided. Please let us know if you're interested in attending by contacting us at unitygeorgetown@gmail.com. Also, in June, we will need assistance rearranging after service and some transportation help for our equipment. Kirk is performing in a play in Lakeview and will have to leave early. If you are willing to offer your help, please reach out to board member or Carrie, and thank you in advance. Please visit our welcome table in the foyer. Check out our weekly newsletter, e-newsletter sent out every Friday morning, or go to our website. Okay.
The Let's Get Metaphysical group covers a lot of territory. We talk about consciousness, about AI, about the James Webb Telescope, and about old religions and and familiarizing ourselves with things. We cover a lot of bases. And so when I first got to Unity, I came from a Catholic background, and they told me that this was Christian, based on a Christian model. I said, really? Doesn't sound like any Christianity I've ever heard, but let's hear it. I'm open. And so I started the search to find out everything I could about the early Christian movement. And one of the things that popped up was on the History Channel, a video, a two-part series. It was called Banned from the Bible. And it talks about all the how the books that are, because it's a collection of books. It's not one book, it's a collection of books. And how they got into the Bible, how they got to be canon, and how they got thrown out, the other books. So I talked to the LGM group on Wednesdays. They said they'd be interested. And they said, well, I want to share with everybody. So I have a sign-up sheet outside. If you're interested, we're going to do one of those Saturday afternoon things that we did before, where we'll just come in, because each one's 100 minutes long. So that's about an hour and 2 hours. Yeah. No, not 2 hours, an hour and 40, something like that. Yeah, an hour and 40. So we'll watch about half of it, have a little discussion, take a break, and watch the other half. So we haven't set any dates for it yet, but I'm offering you the chance. If you want to come and join us on this Banned from the Bible business. So all that business put aside, it's time to get to the service. And we like to begin our service with a little bit of humor, because humor is the best medicine, and it opens up your soul and puts you in an energetic field that you need to be in. And once again, we have a guest comedian, Mr. Dan.
Okay, so there was this lady, she had twin boys, and they were 10 years old. They were always a problem. She knew if there was ever trouble somewhere in the community, when she heard about it, she knew her two boys were involved somehow. She was at her wit's end, and someone said there was a pastor in town who was very good with disciplining kids. So she went, talked to him. He said, yeah, I'll talk to your boys, but one at a time. Give me the first one. I have an opening in the morning, and I can do the second one in the afternoon. The first boy goes in, and this pastor sits him down and just says, son, do you know where God is? And the kid just looks at him kind of blank and doesn't say anything. Son, louder, where is God? And the kid just freezes. And then he gets up in his face with his finger, where is God? And a little boy just screams and runs out of the building and runs all the way home and hides in the closet. His brother finally finds him in the closet. And he says, "What happened?" He said, "We are in big trouble. God is missing and they think we did it."
Please rise as we begin our service.
Shake it off, shake it off. So let's just take that wonderful, vibrant energy and just transform it into a sense of peace, a centering, an openness as we prepare for our service, and allow the vibrations of the crystal bowl to just move through your body, mind, and spirit and open you as we prepare to begin our service.
Today's daily word is I am. The affirmation is I am a living expression of God. The inspiration for today's daily word comes from Matthew 16:15. He said to them, "But who do you say that I am?" In the book of Exodus, Moses asks God his name. God responds, "I am who I am." I am is the name of the divine presence within me, a reminder of my spiritual nature. Sometimes I may forget my divine identity by thinking of myself as weak, incapable, or unfortunate. If I have spoken disempowering words about myself, I release those thoughts and stop using those words. Each time I say I am, I strengthen my awareness of the truth of my being. I am God's life, love, wisdom, and strength expressing uniquely as me. As I pay attention to my thoughts and words, I am able to recognize and release limiting thoughts more quickly. My awareness of my true identity grows stronger and stronger. Please read the affirmation with me twice. I am a living expression of God. I am a living expression of God.
I'm going to light the candles that represent divine order. Mind is that universal mind, or source. It imparts ideas to us as long as we are open and receptive. And when we put those ideas into action, we express spirit. Please join me in our prayer of intention. Divine Spirit opens our minds, opens our hearts, and touches us all deeply with love, and sends us out as agents of love, agents of peace, agents of justice. Amen. And now we have a song.
Am I strong enough to bear the burdens that sometimes come living this thing called life? Am I wise enough to make the right decisions when I'm standing at the fork in the road? Sometimes I wonder and ponder, only to realize that I'm not alone and there's nothing I have to do on my own. 'Cause I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. I
Beautiful. Please join me in affirming together our statement of being and our vision statement. There is only one presence and one power active in the universe and in my life, God, the good, omnipotence. Centered in God, we co-create a world of love, peace, and abundance.
It's in every one of us to be wise. Find your heart, open up both your eyes. We can all know everything without ever knowing why. It's in it's in every one of us to be free. Find your heart, open your eyes and see. We can all know everything without ever knowing why. It's in every one of us here and now. It's in every one of us to feel peace within your heart, love that will not cease. We can all know everything without ever knowing how. It's in every one of us here and now. It's in every one of us here and now.
It is in every one of us as we open ourselves to prayer and to the peace that is at the very core of our being, no matter what is going on in the world of form. We can connect right now to every prayer that's being uttered anywhere in a spiritual center, a church, a temple, an ashram, a synagogue, a mosque, a sidewalk, a prayer rug, at the beach, on the mountaintop. This connection creates a circle of light, a safe place of love and peace. And into this space, we can mention silently or aloud any individual or situation that we wish to give some extra peace and love. Let's take the time to do that now. It is done, and perfectly so. And now we close our time of prayer by singing an ancient prayer, one handed down through the ages that affirms God's realm manifest here on earth. Our Lord's Prayer.
Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be
Do you get messages from the universe? I do every weekday by email. They come from tut.com. Started 21 years ago by a guy named Mike Dooley. Now, Mike's story is fascinating and inspiring, but I want to focus on just one of those messages as today's spiritual practice. I received it a couple of weeks ago. What if, as much as I am the Alpha, the Omega, and everything in between, Judy, I am also your thoughts? Not just in them, not just writing upon them, not just what they manifest, but I am actually your thoughts. Would it be easier for you to see how far you can send them? How unlimited they are? How dependable, non-judgmental, infallible, supreme, and how potentially healing, nurturing, and magical they are? Would it be easier to see how powerful you are, Judy? Pucker up, Buttercup. Signed, the universe. And P.S., there's always a P.S. Choose me wisely. So there's the spiritual practice. Choose your thoughts. Watch what you think. There's a lot of agreement on this. In Science and Health, Mary Baker Eddy wrote, "Stand porter at the door of thought." And the copyrighted tagline for every note from the universe is, "Thoughts become things, choose the good ones." Ernest Holmes, 20th century mystic, said that life is a mirror and will reflect back to the thinker what he thinks into it. And then there's Myrtle Fillmore, and Myrtle has been given me messages ever since Therese brought her up last week. She said, "You do not have a problem except the one that's in your mind, and you put it there."
Yeah.
And some good advice from Abraham through Esther Hicks. Your thoughts create your feelings. Your feelings create your vibration, and that vibration creates your life. I think Reverend Tommy said that earlier. As you think thoughts that feel good to you, you will be in harmony with who you really are. So there's our clue on how to choose our thoughts wisely. How do we put this spiritual practice to use? How do we stand porter to the door of thought? Well, thoughts that feel good, that make us smile, that pull us out of anger. These are messages from the universe, from the universal one. And I'm not just talking about those thoughts that are warm and fuzzy and that always make us smile. Not just those, but also those thoughts that spur us to loving action, to do something, to speak up, to offer help, to lend a hand or a dollar. After all, we are agents of love, agents of peace, agents of justice. Let's have a little experience about being those agents or that agent. So just think for a moment of a time when you just felt all warm and fuzzy. Maybe it was at the beginning of service when Reverend Tommy was talking about the love that we experience here. Maybe it's when you picture a newborn baby or a kitten. Maybe it's a vision of your first pet, or the pet you have now that celebrates every time you walk in the door. Maybe it's the face of your partner or spouse. Maybe I should have said that first. Well, take that feeling and let it rise up into your heart and hold it there. And now think of a time you took loving action, a time you let somebody in line in front of you at HEB or on the roadway. The time when you helped someone out of a sticky situation. You rescued a baby bird. You asked, "What is mine to do?" And then you did it. Move that feeling into your heart too, and hold it there as well. Now take a deep breath and settle in to your chair. Close your eyes and take a little time with these thoughts, the good feelings, your memories of those good actions. And if an unwanted thought pops in, just say thank you for sharing and move your focus back to those good feelings, those good vibrations. And remain in that place that symbolizes our oneness. And just be gentle in your thinking until Dan brings us back with a song.
Feel the love. In the silence I can rise above. In the silence I can hear the voice. In the silence I am whole. I am whole. I am whole. I am whole.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Judy. Today I wanted to start a new series of talks that I'm going to call The Words of the Master. And the series is about what did Jesus really teach? And I'll give you a hint. What Christianity mostly talks about is not about Jesus or his teachings. It is about Paul, what Paul believed. I'll get into that in 2 weeks, because when I found out today that, or not today, but that we were going to have something different for service next week, then I decided to hold off, because I don't want to start a new series 1 week and then put a break in it right away. So I'll start in 2 weeks, which got me thinking, well, what am I going to talk about today? And the answer to that came by way of Teresa's wonderful Mother's Day talk last week. She brought up a very interesting and very uniquely unity subject, the 12 powers of man. Now, Teresa does not like that terminology. It's too 1800s, so the 12 powers of humankind. During the talk, she said that she didn't really have much time to get into that particular discussion, and I took that as a natural segue to this week. Now, this subject falls under the category of classic unity teachings. Today's version of the 12 powers is an overview. So what are these 12 powers of man, and where did that idea come from? We have to back up a little bit before we get into that. As you know, unity was founded by Myrtle and Charles Fillmore. Therese talked a little bit about that, and let me repeat a couple of things. Initially, the movement began as a healing ministry because Myrtle was diagnosed with tuberculosis in her 40s. And in the 1800s, that was a death sentence. I think Thoreau died of TB during that time, and he was about in his 40s as well. It really, really was a death sentence. But one evening, she went to a New Thought lecture, and she heard some magical words. She heard the speaker say, I am a child of God, and I do not inherit illnesses. She really took that to heart and talked to her body over and over for months until she healed herself. And now we know, I have one of my TED Talks is from a medical doctor that addresses that very topic. Do we have the power to heal ourselves? And Dr. Rankin, is her name, Lisa, says, yes, we do. Anyway, that's another topic. But they were very spiritual people, Myrtle. Charles, not so much. He was more of a heady guy. He really liked to study. But when he saw this happen to Myrtle, he came to the logical conclusion that, well, if she can do it, then it's in the power of everyone to do it. Because in this idea that we are one, there is nothing exclusive fundamentally to anyone. So if one can do it, we all have the ability to do it. Now, Charles also had an accident when he was very young, and it left his leg atrophied. And as he was growing up, and his leg ended up being like 4 inches shorter than the other. But he had the good fortune. So this did not allow him to go to normal school, so he had the good fortune of having a friend who had a young military wife who was homeschooling her boy. And so he started going that, man, the lady was into a lot of stuff. And so Charles had the opportunity to read about transcendentalism and all these other things that he would not have received in his normal education. He was very quick to learn. Fast forward to the unity when he was starting. When Charles jumped on board to the healing, he really jumped on board. I mean, big time. Because having been brought up Christians, they started looking at Christianity from a new angle. And one that you might say from a higher perspective, from a higher elevation, from the mountaintop, as the scripture likes to say all the time. This came to be known as a metaphysical interpretation of the Bible. And so the bottom line is, Unity's interpretation of the Bible is that every event, every person, every place, everything is representative of our spiritual journey, in the sense that there is an atom an Abraham, a Moses, a John the Baptist, a Mary, a Joseph, and even a Jesus within our consciousness. And they are all stages of our spiritual unfolding because of this oneness. When I read this first, I said, really? Now you're trying to tell me that the authors of the Bible intended it this way? Well, intended, maybe not so much. But then again, did I intend to be, when I was 20 years old, to be at Unity Georgetown? No, but something guided me here, and here I am. So, but perhaps the intention comes from a deeper level. But that's how we see the Bible anyway. Fillmore was an incredibly clever guy, and he found a way to metaphysically interpret the 12 powers. In his book on the 12 powers, he writes, "Inherent in the mind of being are 12 fundamental ideas which in action appear as primal creative forces. It is possible for a person to ally himself or herself with these forces and thereby cooperate with the creative law." Then he states, "The subconscious mind of humankind has 12 great centers of action." So he makes this wonderful correlation between the 12 powers that we have and Jesus. And the way he does it is that Jesus in the Bible always represents our divinity, our divine state that we all have within. And so when Jesus went to gather his disciples, he says that a person reaches a certain point in their spiritual unfolding where they gather all these powers in so as to now focus on the mission at hand, which is the manifestation of our divinity. And he talks about, Fillmore does, about the first and second coming of Christ. And when I first saw that, I said, that's very interesting. Because a lot of people believe that Jesus is coming again. That second coming, you've heard it, everybody knows the second coming. He says it this way, it's not that Jesus is coming back. The first coming is the receiving of truth in our conscious mind when we first become aware of it. The second coming is the awakening and the regeneration of the subconscious mind through the superconscious or universal mind. The second coming is going to be when you become aware, when you wake up. It's not an external thing. Everything is internal. Everything works from the inside out, not from it appears to work from the outside in, but that's the grand illusion or delusion, or however you want to put it. So like I said, he had a very clever way of doing this. He says this about the 12 powers. Each power functions in 3 ways. There we go with that Trinity thing. The first as a perfect idea in divine mind. The second as a growing concept within our consciousness. And the third is as an expression into the manifest world. Sounds like divine order we talked about earlier. There was a minister, a New Thought minister from Chicago, when we used to have Unity Online Radio, and he says, the 12 powers teach us how to work with total consciousness. I like that. So what are these 12 powers? They are faith, strength, wisdom, love, power, imagination, understanding, will, order, zeal, elimination, and life. Now, it is important to understand something that's very crucial. These spiritual powers are inherent to us. We don't need to go get them. We don't even need to develop them. They're full-blown, ready to go. What we need to do is activate them. Gather them in, as Jesus gathered his disciples. But they exist only in potential until you activate them. They're there. The whole universe is there, waiting for you. It's your call. The ball is in your court. The whole time has been. Spiritual practices are something that's very important here at Unity Georgetown, and that's why we have a section where we do a spiritual practice every time. Because they're intended to kind of get you to go home and develop your own spiritual practices on a daily basis. So getting back to Teresa's awesome talk last week, she mentioned something about the 12 powers that I had not heard of, and that is associating them with the yin and yang, male and feminine energies. And I said, that's kind of nice. I don't know where she got that. I'll need to talk to her about that. But just to be clear, we all have all these powers, but some of the powers do tend to be more male-oriented, and some of them more female-oriented. But they're just tendencies. The goal, obviously, is to manifest all the powers in a balanced way. So she said that the general tendency then for the male-dominant powers is to be about doing, and they are, or an outer expression. They are zeal, power, order, strength, and will. You can kind of see that, yeah, testosterone, also known as. And the female-dominant powers tend to be about feeling, about being, and they are faith, wisdom, imagination, love, life, and release. Well, that makes sense, that nurturing energy. And the thing that she pointed out also last week is there's 5 powers for the male and 6 for the women. Now, why is that? And I know why, and you know why. Because women are better at multitasking than we are. Plain and simple. And then we have one shared power, and that is understanding. So let me repeat again. Philmer was a super clever guy. He really, really was. In fact, he metaphysically interpreted the entire Bible, every person. I have a metaphysical Bible interpretation thing that's about that thick. And I don't care what character you come up with, any of them, from the Old Testament or whatever, he's got a metaphysical interpretation for, man, that guy was something. So he tied it all together, and he also included tying it to our chakras, the 12 powers. And so each one of our 12 powers is associated with a chakra. Each one has a color and a location within our body, just like the chakras do. Now, I can basically give you an idea. We start from the bottom, as we do with all the chakras. Elimination. It has a color, russet. It has a disciple, Thaddeus. And the location, we know we start at the bottom. And it has a month, November. Then there's life. The color is red. Disciple is Judas. And December, and there's more to it, but there's order, there's strength, there's wisdom, judgment. There's love, domination, zeal, faith, imagination, will, understanding. And so it all comes down to balance, to balancing all these powers in a way that we can manifest the maximum. It's like I like to watch racing sometimes, drag racing and stuff. And you watch these guys between races, they tear the entire engine apart and put it back together from one race to the next. And so that's what you're doing with your 12 powers. You're putting all this engine back together so that it will maximize how it's going to run in your life. Now, there's one other thing to consider, and that is, because we live in a dualistic universe, we can use or abuse the powers. And there's another book, maybe you're not familiar with, it's called Power Up, and it talks about this. And I'll give you a couple examples, real quick. Zeal. It says if you underuse zeal, then it results in a person who is listless and has little enthusiasm for life or any idea. Now, if you overuse zeal, then you have a person who is zealous, impulsive, ruthless, and overambitious. Order. Underuse it results in someone who cannot organize, balance, or make adjustments easily. Overuse it, now you have someone who's hyper-detailed about everything. Power. If you underuse it, you have a person who cannot master much, who has little grasp of ideas with no sense of control. If you overuse it, now you got a person that's overly controlling and comes across as domineering. So you can see that even though the powers are there, and the divine powers, our use of them can go either way, because that's within our power to choose. Thus, it comes down to balance again. There is a saying from Rumi, I've said before, Beyond good and evil is a field. I will meet you there. That's when we no longer judge. That's when we live in a balanced world, in a balanced consciousness. Let's take a couple of minutes, Dan, to kind of center ourselves on these powers that we have. And we begin, as we always do, by taking a few deep breaths. And in a state of gratitude for our access to these wonderful and miraculous faculties that we are endowed with as spiritual beings having a human experience. We are reminded of our power of will for choosing to be here this morning. We know that our power of wisdom has brought us to this place and to this time. We turn our attention to our power of elimination as we release and let go of any faults and limiting beliefs we may be harboring in our minds. We give thanks for our life and our ability to energize, vitalize, enliven, and be whole. We approach life with zeal and passion for this human experience. We demonstrate strength and perseverance as we traverse through any challenge that may present itself. Through faith, we believe that what is in our highest good is manifesting before us right now. And with love, the great unifying power in the universe, we attract all that is ready to become part of our greater expression. We rest in this great understanding, and we know that all is well. And so it is, and I will go on.
I repent for moments I have spent recalling all the pain and failures of my past. Forgive me for dwelling on the things beyond my power to change, those chains that held me fast. I will go on, my past I leave behind me. I gladly take God's mercy and God's love. God is joy and God is peace. God is strength and sweet release. and sweet content. I will go on, my past I leave behind me. I gladly take God's mercy and God's love. God is joy and God is peace. God is strength and sweet release. I know God is and I am His. I will go
I accept the promise of the dawn, a place to build upon, to make a brand new day. I will begin, convinced that Spirit lives, assured that God forgives, and that God's here to stay. I will go on, my past I leave behind me. I gladly take God's mercy and God's love. God is joy and God is peace. God is strength and sweet release. I know God is and I am His. I will go on, my past I leave behind me. I gladly take God's mercy and God's love. God is joy and God is peace. God is strength and sweet release. I know God is and I am His.
I will go on.
Susan Heinrichs joined us today.
That's what I'm talking about. That's all I can say. That's what I'm talking about. You feel better than when you walked in this place? Good. Now is the time when we offer our tithes and our gifts to a spiritual community so that we can continue to the work of spirit, of spreading the message of love and healing and forgiveness to a hurting world. That's what we came to do. So we do that through our contributions and our tithing. So together we take our money in our tithes in our hands and we say, divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I give in love, and I trust God.
Everything I see, everything I do is blessed by your hand, God. I give it back to you. Everything I give, every thought that's true,
Join me in our offering and dedication. We bless and dedicate these tithes and offerings as an expression of divine love, and we release them to manifest that love in our community and in our world. We bless the children of the world. We love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, we behold the Christ you are. Final announcements. Judy is our prayer chaplain today. No LGM this week. And my wife came up with a brilliant idea of showing a thank you for everybody who participated in today's service. So, yeah. Thank you. Let's end our service this morning with our peace song. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is. All is well. I am light. I am love. I am power. I am presence. I am. If anybody would like to take a flyer to post somewhere, I've got a whole bunch of them up here. And sign up for that band from the Bible thing if you'd like. Have a blessed week.